Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rslash Tales from Call Centers. In today's episode, some people just can't be helped. I want my iPhone. Has anyone else cried on the way to work? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Some people just can't be helped. Call center for a credit union. Lady calls up today desperate, begging me to let her overdraw her account by $2,500. First, so much no. Second, what? She tells me it's an emergency. I need this money now. I'm thinking car broke down, house flooded, medical, something. Nope. Turns out her Amazon account has been hacked and someone in Texas is buying up all kinds of stuff, but she has the Amazon rep on hold, and he can fix it. She just has to buy these gift cards, so he can pay the people who've been scammed. Unmitigated bullsh** T. We've all had this one. I'm like, ma'am, no. You need to listen to me carefully, this is not legit. It's a scam. Do not give him any money, do not give him your debit card number. Do not even talk to him anymore. Too late. She tells me she's already done it. I pull her ACCT up on screen. Between Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and the debit card, she's already given him $4,500. All she has left is $23. I lay it out for her, close the card so they can't use that anymore, tell her to get herself to a branch so she can get a new card, get a printout of her account history, and go to the cops cause you done goofed. She's bawling her eyes out. Not much I can do for her except tell her to make sure she hangs up on the dude. Don't talk to him, don't answer his calls or texts, just be done with him. Okay, she says, thank you, etc., etc. End of call. 2 hours later she calls back mad as hell. She's tearing into me, livid, pissed cause I scared her and almost messed her up so bad she couldn't finish getting her Amazon problem settled. Turned out she did exactly what I told her not to do, got back on the phone with him, and he convinced her it was all legit, and she's expecting her refund from Amazon in a few days. It was all for real and you had me so scared. Why would you do that to somebody? You just wrong. He getting me my money back in a few days and everything gonna be fine. Good luck with that, ma'am. I'm sure I'll be talking to you in a few days when that mythical refund from Amazon doesn't show up, and I'll be more than happy to tell you I told you so. By the way, she was 24 years old. People say they prey on the elderly, but the truth is they prey on the gullible and the dumb. 24, 74 or 104, that lady would have bought it hook, line and sinker. I have an acquaintance who fell for this. She has autism and was quite naive, especially in her early 20s. She navigated the fallout only with support from her sister. We have a well-known scam in our industry that involves drop shipping a large amount of product directly to an end user. We are trained to watch for the red flags and ask qualifying questions about it. Like, have you worked with this end user before? Have you met in person? Etc. Then we can explain the scam. Someone once insisted it was legit, they already had the credit card charged. They had a rough year and needed this big sale, and it was an easy one. But once the product is delivered, the credit card shows up stolen or cancelled, and our customer is out the money in product. BCOFC, my company, doesn't accept third-party credit cards, so our customer has already paid us, and we aren't refunding anything. He almost lost his whole business, it was thousands of dollars. He was a super nice guy, and really didn't deserve it. He admitted he was wrong, and apologized for not listening to the warnings. He wasn't our biggest customer, but he was one of our most loyal and decent, and I'm glad our credit department was able to work with him so his business could stay open while he recovered. Our credit team also looks for the red flags of this scam, and they get ignored too. I've had a handful of other customers wave off concerns for this scam, but this guy was one I worked with a lot directly, so his story always sticks out to me. I feel bad for this lady, especially BC. She's so sure she did the right thing. I know it's a long shot, but I hope she calls back and apologizes to OP. I find it incredibly hard to have any sympathy to people like the caller. Given all the awareness campaigns, you need to have purposefully avoided all of them to not be aware of them. Some scams are pretty compelling. Hope it never happens to you, and it can, by the way. I prefer to blame the scammer instead of the victim. Additionally, now that they know she's an easy mark, her info will be sold to other scammers. I worked for a retail store a few years back and had a guy in his 30s walk in and try to buy $3,000 in gift cards. He was on the phone with someone the entire time too. We told him we can only give him up to $2,000 in gift cards, as that was the daily limit. He was enraged and blamed us for having to go somewhere else for the rest, and we stated that no legitimate company would get you to pay them in gift cards. He cussed us out and left the store. It happens to so many people these days. I get a scam call at least twice a week. I kinda miss the day when people with thick accents called to tell me there was a virus on my PC, and they were calling from official Microsoft. Nowadays, I've had to tell clients that no, your boss isn't actually asking for you to go and get $2,500 worth of Google Play cards and then sending the code through email. A lot of teaching weekly for different users who just see boss name and a from email and just think it must be legit. Or other tickets come in, asterisk can't open. Important email attachment, oh dear, here we go again. Random email sent by some unknown email address, and a file that looks like Excel, but gives an error when the user is trying to open it. Sigh. Lack of critical thinking in education and people that know how to take advantage of it unfortunately leads to this. I work for a call center for a major retailer, and gift card scams are a big issue. It's sad that some people are so gullible, and they don't realize that if you buy gift cards and you scratch that pin off and give the scammer the numbers, you are SOL and your money is gone and you aren't going to get it back. I've talked to people who have given scammers thousands and thousands of dollars and are left with nothing, and they have no recourse. I talked to one elderly man who had purchased the max amount of gift cards that they would let him purchase at one store, and then got in his car and drove to another 2 stores to purchase more. I worked for a bank and received an automated call from Amazon to verify some high-dollar transactions. I almost connected through. I realized it was strange the number was a local number, then checked my Amazon account and finally had to ignore the calls for a few days. I work for a bank and they almost hooked me into talking to them. And like you have had many calls like yours where they ignore your advice, make it worse, and come back with claims you told them to follow the scammer's instructions. I can't tell you how many times I have had to review calls and call back customers and be nice to people who lied and tried to throw someone else under the bus for their stupidity. Oh. Poor thing. That said, too bad she was so gullible. Had a family friend a while back tear into her husband for falling for one of those bank/IRS/SS security department scams a while back. Then sure enough, a year or so later I get the call from her. She fell for the Amazon snack hook, line and sinker. At least she finally realized on her own that she'd been had. Worse, I think, was the client I had who called me in a panic, wanting her computer checked for malware because she'd been hacked. Got her talking while I was checking it, and as it turns out it's not that she was hacked, and there was nothing wrong with her computer. She'd fallen for a Facebook romance/investment scammer to the tune of $10,000 or so, but had apparently been able to subconsciously convince herself that she'd need hacked instead of gullible. May I have this woman's phone number, please? Got some real estate in Florida to sell her? LOL. I want my iPhone. I work in a large call center at what we will call the phone company. I recently moved to a second-line support position to assist agents and take customer escalations and complaints. Overall, it is wonderful to only talk to maybe 5 customers per week, as most of our correspondence is done via email or messaging. Anyway, these last couple days the amount of escalations my team has taken around people not satisfied that they have not gotten and will not get their iPhone 13 Pro Max 256GB that they ordered yesterday in time for Christmas is astonishing. They accept compensation in the form of a free iPhone or else them, and their whole family, and the cat will port off the network. I'm tired, frustrated, and just need a break. I'm moving even further away from a frontline role in the new year to move to a B2B role. I cannot wait. Goodbye, Ashley. I hope your iPhone 13 Pro Max 256GB in gold goes end of life before you even get it, and have to settle for the 128GB version. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all. I understand your pain. No idea why people expect the impossible when it's clearly stated when it's going to arrive. They are fully grown-up kids that never got a no in their life. And a pain in the ass. Once upon a time when I worked for DirecTV, we had a call on a Friday wanting to get installed next day the day before the Super Bowl. He was having a lot of people over and needed it done, or his party would be ruined. I explained that the installers would be busy installing the people who had been aware enough to order the advertised 3 to 5 days in advance. The sense of entitlement that some people have still makes me lean back in my chair at times and say silently to myself, "Are you frigging kidding me?" I too work for a large call center for phone company, possibly the same one, but that's irrelevant since it's all the same kind of calls. The number of times I have heard something along the lines of "I'm not going to tell my kid they aren't getting the iPhone 13 Pro Max, they have literally been crying about you need to figure this out now, or we're switching over to other phone company, this is horrible customer service, and you owe us this for what you've put us through." It's so frustrating, especially since that kid is just going to grow up to be exactly the same kind of customer, thinking the world revolves around them. Just like their parents do. The obsession iPhone users have with acquiring the latest and greatest model as soon as possible is also strange to me. I definitely see that kind of mentality more from iPhone users than Android, but maybe that's clouded by my own personal bias, I don't know. I should start a tally. Couldn't gain agreement equals I don't want to say no. Has anyone else cried on the way to work? Back in August I worked for a call center that was doing calls for the NHS. I originally was excited as I thought it would be a matter of going to my desk, taking calls, going home and getting a paycheck. However, once I actually started my shift, I was overwhelmed, so much information, using an app to connect the headphones with callers, having to go back to a script and back to the customer's information, and unfortunately, I went into the toilets and cried. Afterwards, every day on the bus ride to work, I would cry. I was not looking forward to it, and I hoped every day that the systems would be down so I wouldn't have to take any calls. Eventually I quit and I'm much happier. Anyone else feel like this? I worked for a law firm once and the people there were toxic. I got upset one day on my walk home from work. Once I left I never looked back. Leaving a place that makes you miserable is the best thing you can do to yourself. And on the way home, I knew I had to quit when I wanted to drive into bridge abutments. That and having trouble not opening the alcohol before I got there. To work from work during work on my break. Last call center I worked for was video repair for a large ISP, one that does video/internet/phone. During the last few weeks of working there I'd pull up and just sit in my car for 15 minutes, amping myself up for the next 8 hours of bullcrap. It's not all horrible, just 90% of the calls are angry self-righteous people who believe they deserve free services or money back or just want to yell at someone over how many commercials there are on TV. Like yes I know. Commercials **CK, but this company is just a redistributor and has no control over what each channel displays. You know what doesn't have commercials? Streaming services, mostly, like Hulu and Netflix. I think Amazon Prime Videos will show a few seconds of an ad at the beginning as if they don't make enough money and need more, not like I'm already paying them a monthly sub. But yet just a few minutes in the car not driving, telling myself it's not gonna be so bad today, Maybe you can improve the time of each call so that it doesn't go beyond the 8-minute mark. I understand the company probably did some sort of how long should each agent/rep take to complete a call, and just came up with 8 minutes roughly, to introduce yourself and exchange pleasantries, verify the person calling, and then ask what the hell they want, nicely, and then get it all magically resolved in under 8 minutes. Just so you can end that call with extremely shorthand notes for that account, just to get an immediate call the second you hang up cause there's someone always calling every damn hour of the day. Holiday weekend? They are calling. 3 a.m.? They are calling. Power outage in major area out of our control? They are calling. So I never cried, but I still loathed the idea of stepping back into that building, even if the employees and managers were all super supportive. Having to think for morons just drains the soul. I feel for you completely. I worked 10 years in call centers to put myself through college, and even now 10 years later, if I hear a little beep that sounds like an incoming call, I break out in a cold sweat. It's like PTSD. I used to cry every day in my car before work. Hang in there. I'm not a crier, but sometimes while I'm at work from home call center, I am also simultaneously chatting with the suicide prevention chat site because of regular abuse, and I have almost attempted at work a couple times. I remember those days. It is hard, and I have had a job like that before. I used to be a cook at a casino, paid extremely well, but was incredibly stressful. I used to have panic attacks every morning and just lie on the bathroom floor after throwing up because I hated the place so much. I was so elated when I quit, best decision I ever made, and I am sure this is for you as well. If a job is doing that to you, do not think twice. Quit, move on, life goes on. Best of luck in whatever adventures you embark on. I got out of the call center gig recently, but had been stuck in one for 3 or 4 years before that. I never cried on my way to work. Although in the last year, the job really took a toll on my mental health to the point where I was borderline abusing alcohol and having drunk mental breakdowns every other night. Like I said, I got out a few months ago and I'm doing just fine now. I used to work for a retail shop. Little tiny store. I hated it. Realized when I wished the car would run me over when I walked to work, I lived close by, that I needed to quit. Never on the way to work. At work and leaving after a hard day, sure. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.